Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and it was made official this morning that Everton Football Club have appointed Carlo Ancelotti as their new manager on a 4.5 year deal. Everton have also confirmed that Carlo Ancelotti's first game in charge will be against Burnley on Boxing Day. Obviously, Everton today drew with Arsenal 0-0. So obviously, Duncan Ferguson was in charge for that game today, and obviously, Carlo Ancelotti, was currently spectating. But yeah, like I said, it is a 4.5 year deal. Duncan Ferguson, of course, is going to be a part of the backroom staff. Carlo Ancelotti did reveal before he got officially appointed that he wanted to have Duncan Ferguson as his assistant, also to his son. It has been confirmed. So Carlo Ancelotti is Everton's new manager, to replace Marco Silva, because Marco Silva, of course, was sacked earlier on this month and that. But I don't think Duncan Ferguson anyway, was keen on taking the Everton job on a permanent basis. But I thought he did well, when he was, the interim manager. He's obviously due with Arsenal, drew with us at Old Trafford, beaten Chelsea, unlucky to, lose to Leicester on penalties and that. So you got to praise, him, for what a good job he's done. But the question is, can Carlo Ancelotti, elevate Everton forward? And I think, from an Everton perspective, I think, they will be really, really happy. A lot of their fans, will be happy with Carlo Ancelotti. Everton this is the 10th club he's managing, Carlo Ancelotti, Everton, because he's actually managed 9 clubs so far during his 24-year managerial career. He's won so much silverware. He's won 15 major honours in total. Obviously he's won 3 Champions Leagues. He won titles in Germany, France, and Italy. Also won the Premier League with Chelsea back in 2010, was it? He spent a couple of years with Chelsea, but he did win the Premier League and the FA Cup in his first season with Chelsea. So the question is, can he replicate at Everton, what he did do with Chelsea, because he achieved great success with Chelsea. Obviously, he began his managerial career in Italy, in that he managed quite a few Italian clubs at the beginning of his managerial career. He managed, obviously, AC Milan for several years. He managed Juventus. He also managed Parma. Then, obviously, went to manage, Real Madrid and PSG and Bayern Munich and that. But he has managed a variety of clubs, and he's now 60 years of age. But Carlo Ancelotti was sacked by Napoli the other week. Despite the fact that Napoli had beaten Genk 4-0 and progressed to knockout stages of the Champions League. But I think, Ancelotti's give his overarching view on Everton appointing him, and I think, he is really looking forward to it, because disregarding, Everton, under Duncan Ferguson, they have endured really a difficult start to the season. But maybe perhaps Carlo Ancelotti is the right man. Don't forget, there was quite a few other managers on their agenda. Obviously there was talks of Unai Emery going there, because Unai Emery was sacked by Arsenal, was it around 3 weeks ago now. Obviously, I think Unai Emery turned down the Everton job. I think he turned down a couple of offers from Chinese clubs. There was also talks at one point about David Moyes, possibly, reuniting with Everton, because obviously, David Moyes endured 11 years with Everton when he was younger, so he was a long-serving manager. But yeah, they have now officially got Carlo Ancelotti in as their new permanent manager. Don't forget, Carlo Ancelotti, was linked with the managerial role at Arsenal, but I don't think, Arsenal were keen on recommending him in. They weren't keen on recommending him in, because I think, they have got they've got some reservations about him. Let's see now how he does. So he is now reuniting him in the Premier League. I think Zlatan Ibrahimovic, according to recent reports, could be his first signing. Obviously, we had Zlatan Ibrahimovic a couple of years ago. with a serious injury that he sustained at Man United. You know, I think that had a bad effect on his career and that, but it was still very, very good for us. I think Zlatan, you know, now he's in his 30s, so I presume anywhere Everton would get him on the cheap. So Everton is seeing him as a cheaper solution and that, but he'll want to make more investment in the Everton team anywhere. Will Carlo Ancelotti maybe could consider, you know, getting rid of a couple of players and that. Maybe he wants to get rid of maybe 3, maybe 4 players next year. But yeah, it has been officially announced. And I think he's set to earn around 11.5 million a year. Also, is Carlo Ancelotti. But you know, I give you the news, didn't I, yesterday, because it was officially announced yesterday that Arsenal Football Club obviously, you know, appointed Mikel Arteta as their new permanent manager to replace Unai Emery and that. Obviously, you know, Arsenal sacked Unai Emery after just 18 months in charge, because obviously, you know, Arsenal enjoyed a bad start to the season. You know, obviously, you know, they had 7 games where there was winless, so there was on a 7-game winless run. And obviously, you know, they said, you know, that the performances and the results, you know, were not at the level as required in that. So these are the couple of reasons why Unai Emery had obviously, you know, been sacked. Obviously, you know, they did obviously, you know, have Ljungberg in on a temporary basis, but obviously, you know, wasn't good enough in that. And I said if Arsenal, you know, would have stuck with Ljungberg, you know, he would have ruined his Arsenal legacy in that, you know, because he's really, really good. He was really good as a player, and he's got that proven pedigree as a player. But I think as a manager, he's totally a comparison in that. But I think Ljungberg did remain in charge today for the Everton game. But I think Mikel Arteta's first game in charge will be Arsenal's game on Boxing Day. I think, if I'm right, they have got Bournemouth from that. Unless he was in charge today, I'm not too sure. But yeah, they've got Mikel Arteta in on a 3.5-year deal. I think it's worth around £5 million pounds a year. But this had got confirmed yesterday. Obviously, you know, Mikel Arteta has given his overarching view on him getting appointed as Arsenal's manager. And he says, you know, he wants Arsenal, you know, to compete for the biggest trophies. You know, he said, you know, Arsenal are one of the biggest clubs in the world. But I think, you know, a lot of Arsenal fans, you know, will be delighted with Mikel Arteta. They will be delighted about that. You know, maybe some Arsenal fans, you know, will have different perceptions on it. Maybe some Arsenal fans' preferences, you know, would have probably been Nuno Santo from Wolves, or maybe Massimiliano Allegri over Mikel Arteta, because actually them two managers have got managerial experience. You know, Mikel Arteta hasn't got any managerial experience, so maybe it would be beneficial if Arsenal did actually, you know, recommend a number 2 in, you know, someone, you know, that's got a pedigree behind them and that, and someone, you know, who can obviously, you know, provide support for Mikel Arteta. But yes, like I said, yesterday morning, he did give his farewell goodbyes to Man City and that. Obviously, you know, he enjoyed 3 years with Man City as the coaching assistant, so he was working alongside Pep Guardiola. And that. But yeah, like I said, you know, Mikel Arteta, you know, does know the traditions of Arsenal. He knows Arsenal Football Club really, really well, because he enjoyed 5 years as an Arsenal player, and that. I think he made, a total of 150 appearances in all competitions. I think he won around 2 FA Cups, you know, during his time there. He also enjoyed 6 years with Everton. There was quite a few other teams he played for during his playing career. He played for PSG, Real Sociedad, Rangers. He actually, you know, began his career with Barcelona, you know, and all that. I think, you know, Arsenal have paid a couple of million in compensation as well to recommend him in, because at the first, you know, they couldn't come to an agreement on a compensation, you know, could Arsenal or Man City. But yeah, you know, Arsenal have obviously, you know, got their new manager, but at one point they did have a lot of managers on their agenda who could have replaced Unai Emery. But now they've got Arteta. My overarching view on it, I don't think Arteta will be good enough to elevate Arsenal forward, because he hasn't really got that managerial experience in that. And I think, you know, there's many expectations he has to exceed at Arsenal and that, and I think the expectations are going to be too big for him. You know, Arsenal, of course, are sitting, around, is it 10th in the league or something like that? The last time I looked anywhere. You know, they've obviously drawn today, so they've registered 23 points from 18 Premier League games, and they know that's nowhere near good enough to their standards in that. And Arsenal, they are a good team. They have got some really, really good players in that. They've got the likes of Aubameyang, they've got Lacazette. Obviously, when they do play well, they can complement each other, and they can score goals between them, and they can also provide and create chances. You've got Nicolas Pepe. He's rejuvenated himself recently, but at the beginning of this season, he was really, really poor. He wasn't replicating, what he did do with Lille. They've got Kieran Tierney, who's a very, very good left back. I think he's sustained quite a few injuries for Arsenal this season. Obviously Arsenal got him from Celtic, was it, for around £25 million. They've obviously got Xhaka. He had some problems early on this season. Obviously they've got Ozil. I think a lot of Arsenal fans are demanding Ozil out. Ozil's been a long-serving player at Arsenal. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans did say at the time that they had Sanchez, and they will probably still say it now. Out of the two, they should have got rid of Ozil over Alexis Sanchez, because Sanchez was absolutely fantastic for Arsenal. Enjoyed, 3.5, 4 good years with them. Then obviously, joined us from Arsenal as part of a swap deal with Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal back in January 2018. But Sanchez certainly didn't replicate at Man United what he did do with Arsenal. But he's got a pretty decent pedigree behind him, Sanchez. I think he's done well since he's gone to Inter Milan on loan from us. Obviously he played under Pep Guardiola's guidance when he was younger at Barcelona. But a lot of Arsenal fans will regret now, obviously, getting rid of Sanchez. I think, there's more investment that's needed in Arsenal's squad and that, and I think now Arteta, will be making plans for January and next summer. But I think Arsenal are determined, to see who he can recommend in the next couple of windows, because analysing it, on this squad is obviously, Arteta's, because he's just been, appointed in as the new manager. Obviously he's inheriting, some of Emre's players. Obviously the vast majority of them players are actually now Arsene Wenger's and that, and you've got to say Wenger had left an average squad behind. Wenger, served 22 years as Arsenal manager and that, and I don't think Arteta, can replicate, Wenger's legacy. Wenger's legacy, don't get me wrong, is totally comparison to Ferguson's, but Wenger, you can say, had a good 12, 13 years out of the 22 years and was at Arsenal, let's be honest. But I think Arsenal got rid of him too late. They should have got rid of him at an earlier point, if I'm going to be honest with you. They should have got rid of him at an earlier point and that. But I think Arsenal do show good attacking intent. They can create chances and, they can score goals and that. But I think, defensively they are totally comparison, because I think, they need to address their defensive deficiencies and that. I know they got David Luiz for around, £8 million, but obviously I think a lot of Arsenal fans were unhappy about, getting David Luiz. But yeah, so let's see, what Mikel Arteta can do, as Arsenal's new manager and that. But like I've said anyway, managers have been getting sacked left, right, and centre this season. Obviously, you got Marco Silva sacked from Everton near the beginning of this month. Emre sacked from Arsenal. Sanchez Flores sacked from Watford. He was sacked after less than 3 months in charge. Watford obviously, recently recommended their third new manager in this season in Nigel Pearson. Obviously, Pochettino getting sacked the other month from Tottenham. Managers are now getting sacked left, right, and centre. So that just indicates how ruthless, the boards are now, because, where we are in this new generation. But yeah, so that's the latest news on that. There may be one more video coming up today, or if not today, there will be some coming up tomorrow. Don't forget, join me tomorrow, because I will be giving you my match reaction for the Watford Manchester United game, which is of course a 2 o'clock kickoff. Already on my recent videos, you've seen me preview reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference and that. But hopefully, we can win this game against Watford, because we need to get back to winning the ways in the Premier League, to keep that pressure on that top 4 and that. because we dropped 2 points against Everton last week, but obviously we revived ourselves because, you know, we had a good win against Colchester midweek in the Carabao Cup. And, you know, Watford are a team we should beat because them themselves have endured a really difficult start to the season. They're in a relegation battle, you know, the bottom of the league. You know, so far this season, you know, they've only registered 9 points from 17 games, and they've only won one game so far this season. You know, our record against Watford is absolutely fantastic. But like I've mentioned on my recent videos, I'm going to take nothing for granted. I'm confident, but I'm not going to get too overconfident because, you know, we've been poor against lower opposition for the vast majority of this season, but against elite opposition we've been totally comparison because we've done well against elite opposition, like I've already said to you on my recent videos and that. And, you know, I think, you know, recently our performances have improved. You know, a lot of aspects of our game have improved recently. You know, we've scored more goals. You know, we've created more chances. You know, certain players have stepped up to the plate and that. But, you know, we're not going to get rid of Solskjaer now anyway, so maybe he will not be the next manager to be sacked because we are willing to stand by him, and that Ed Woodward is determined to stand by him. A lot of our players have got, you know, well, the vast majority of our players have got faith in him. Obviously, I think the board are determined to back Solskjaer in the next couple of windows. Yeah, so obviously, you know, their perceptions are totally different to mine and a lot of Man United fans, because you're still getting quite a few Man United fans that feel as though that Solskjaer is not the right manager to elevate Manchester United forward, and that. Just I've got the same perception of what I've got of Arteta now being appointed as Arsenal manager. I don't think he's good enough, you know, to manage Arsenal. I just don't think he's probably got any intuition on how to manage a big football club like Arsenal. But don't forget, he's been, you know, under Guardiola's guidance for 3 years, so maybe he could try and, you know, take something from him maybe. I don't know, but maybe I could get proven wrong. Maybe Ancelotti will do well at Everton. We will see what happens, but yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.